Two. That's it.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
call the meeting to order. Let's stand for the pledge. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item on the agenda is approval of minutes from the July 1st meeting.
I'll move approval.
I'm sorry, I forgot public comment.
Okay.
That was item one, item two. My apologies. I'm new to this, so. Okay, any public comment from anybody here? No? Anybody online?
Hi.
Hi, Gina. No public comment from anybody? Okay, we'll move on to the meeting minutes then from July 1st.
Sal, can
The only
I
correct,
was wondering if we could table the minutes for July 1st, just because I'm out of state right now, and it would be helpful if we could just put this on hold for a month.
Fine with me, yeah.
yeah, I just know Will had sent an email to both of us about Tracy Johnson, just spelling her name, correcting that. That's
Okay,
so when we do it, we'll just
so we'll,
accept.
well,
Take
yeah, we'll
the
fix
E
that.
out of her first name.
Just as a point of order, so there was a motion to table and it's been seconded, so you just have to vote on it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay. Alrighty. Discussion of possible action on tax refunds. This is the tax refunds for the whole month. I don't know how we can show it with Gina.
You want me to read them?
Yeah, if you would
sure.
read them, that'd be great.
Okay,
All right, Jeremy Belliciano, $18.88. David Ballerini, $54.75. Gordon Lavasser, two separate entries, one for $144.83 and the other $191.74. Yvette Pieck, $674.76. Christian Ronholm, $126.96, and Mark Setti, $106.07. All reason for refund is excess payment. Usually those are motor vehicle.
yeah, it doesn't say why, but no.
Yeah, with those dollar amounts, it's usually they've sold the car, so they're getting credited for part of the year.
Okay, that makes sense.
Motion to approve?
Okay,
I'll second your motion.
okay. Any discussion on it? All in favor?
Hi.
All right, then we have the appointment of Jessica Becker to the alternate, as an alternate for the cemetery commission. Have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
I didn't call her, but I did read the email she had sent you and I think Paula before you. And she's interested in serving.
Yeah.
I did speak to her and I had a nice conversation with her, so I agree, and I'd like to move for the appointment to go forward.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then we have let's see, a possible discussion of possible action for the appointment of Deborah Demander, Amy Listinsky, Michael Pownell, Emily Richard, and Michael Sullivan to the Bethany 250th committee. They're all going to serve on that soon.
Yeah, I'll move the appointment. I know all of them except for Michael Pownell. But as I understand, it's just a volunteer committee
Right.
and people are gonna work for free.
Right.
He doesn't show up at the meetings.
I don't, I know as Bob and I have discussed and we have stated publicly that we want to talk to people. But I mean, if Sal, if it's your understanding that all of these people want to be on the committee, I'm happy to support that today. Did they reached out to you?
All right.
I think through
Will,
my brother.
yeah.
Was on the
Okay.
committee.
Yeah, we got this, this was all, we got this list.
Yeah, I think they,
That's it.
That's what I think, there's a limit,
What's that?
there's not a limit on how many people you can.
No.
It's
Right.
it's an event.
Right. When did that come in, you know? So,
there's an email on July 31st. And I guess that was the night before they'd had the first meeting. And I believe these individuals, sounds like they attended. Amy, was that?
Yes, so so on July 30th, last Wednesday, we all met here. And it was Will and Carol already had been appointed and approved. And it was just a chance to just, introduce ourselves, our desire, why we want to be on the committee. Will had a plethora of things from past town events, similar to when there's anniversaries. And then after we all kind of brainstormed about all these different things we could potentially do, we all clearly understand it's volunteer, we all clearly understand we'll have to raise some money on our own to do whatever we want. Will had said if everybody here would like to be official committee members, let me know, and I will put forth the information so you can be on the agenda. And we all said, I think with the exception of one person who just wants to come and go, we're like, sure, we'll definitely be on the committee, so we all agree to do it now, then there you are. So we're gonna probably meet monthly and get the ball rolling more a little bit next year, maybe the first festival go through, don't wanna really bother too many local businesses yet on donations, so I chase that out, but at least we kind of got things started.
awesome. Where you leave home, see the tattoo.
Oh, sure.
So it was covered last time.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Not touching that one.
Oh, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. All right, this is next item for the bid waiver for the Woodbridge Animal Control. It's kind of a strange thing. It's not really a bid waiver. The contract is in place.
Forever.
Yeah, it keeps automatically renewing unless we take action. And the check at my desk to sign, it was almost 60,000 or around there. So I didn't want to sign that without talking to the Board of Selectmen first, just to make sure that you guys wanted to renew this contract. Technically, I think we get a proposal in January, 6 months before the start of the new year with
Their
a
budget for the
Right.
next year.
Right.
I don't think we could run it on our own for 50
Right,
grand.
I'm
Um,
100%.
and this isn't really a thing you could want to bid for. I don't think there's a commercial. But you could contact other towns, but it would have to be kind of. You'd work out a deal with another town and or something like that, right? So depending on. And then another thing would be, are we having any complaints or problems with
Right.
this service?
Yeah, as far as I know.
But yeah, I don't think it's the kind of thing that you could just put an ad in the paper, because I don't think the surrounding towns are gonna respond to that, but
So I
you have to
talked,
talk to them, and if they, they may be over capacity already, so they'll be like, no.
right. I did talk to Leslie and, from now on, when we get the proposal from Woodbridge, it costs us for the upcoming year and want to get on the agenda so we can act on it in a timely manner when we want to.
Cause you have to give them at least 6 months notice.
Yeah,
to
if need
get
6
out.
months notice, we can back out with 6 months notice, so, yes, sure,
Well, the one thing about that bill is that it's in arrears.
okay,
It's for fiscal 25.
Oh, they wait till after the year?
They did this time,
Oh, but normally not.
not usually, they
Okay.
usually spend their money earlier, that's a
Well,
strange. thing.
Woodbridge must have enough money, they can
Yeah.
cover
What
it.
I'd be concerned about is that they also, we have a budget for the same dollar in next year's budget, so if you want to get change something or investigate, you should very
Right, right,
get on it right away.
Not wait until January, because if you start investigating, then
yeah.
you're gonna be tied in for the next year.
And I'm not looking to change it. I just wanna make sure we do things properly. So, you know, it's a contract that the selectmen should,
Right,
renew or not.
consciously decide whether.
Right.
it's
Yeah, exactly. Instead of just, oh yeah, we have a contract that's 15 years old and it's just. Yeah,
All right, so based on the discussion, Gina, do you have anything to add to that?
You on whether, I mean, I agree with what's been said so far. So just wondering if you think we need to do anything.
I would. Probably just a motion to continue. With the contract for fiscal year 25-26. With Woodbridge for the animal control service.
I'm happy to make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
It may be something that if you're at meetings with other mayors and first selectmen, if it's something you're interested in changing, you could just, if you open the discussion, would you guys consider?
yeah.
If there haven't been any problems with.
Right, and it's certainly reasonable.
Not broke,
enough
don't
that it's-
fix it.
Right, right. It's not. Yeah,
I don't remember the reason, but we used to be in the regional, like it was a regional government thing for the Prospect and Orange as well as Woodbridge.
mhm.
And I think that split up at some point on that. I think Prospect wanted out, and then Orange pays Milford to do their
Yeah.
animal control.
Well, yeah, it can be real problematic. It's one of those things that's. Not easy. All right, then we have, discussion of possible action regarding long-term rental policies. For facilities, the gym, center station, airport, Veterans Park and so on. We don't have a policy currently in place for long-term rentals, and I guess my question is, do we want to entertain them? Somebody comes in and says they want to use it, every weekend or every Saturday or every Sunday for an extended period of time. Do we want to allow that type of thing? And if so, we can work on drafting up a policy for that and bring it back, but.
I mean, like I say, I know in Orange, the Public Works Department reserves some rooms in like the community center, and they'll definitely reserve it for a one-off meeting.
Mhm.
And then you either pay if you're a local nonprofit, typically it's the Cub Scouts and Girl Scouts and Little Leagues. But a lot of times they will book it, I need the second Tuesday of every month. So they book those type of things through us. But if somebody wants to like own a room, they have to go to the Board of Selectmen and basically sign a lease. They haven't done it too often. There's two classrooms that have been rented for a long time to a nursery school. And they basically just totally occupy those, sort of like they own them.
Right,
But that's a lease that gets approved. And then there was, they approved, I think, 1 year, there was a special ed group that served like adult special ed kids that were aging out of the school system. And I guess for 1 year, they had a room that was theirs, at least for the mornings, but the room could be rented to other people could use it in the evening. That one also went to the selectmen. That's like too much for staff to. Because otherwise, we frequently get calls from people who want to take over like you're saying, take over the room. I think maybe they were like homeschoolers. And they were like homeschoolers that were trying to create a school or something like that. And, but then they wanted to like monopolize the space. And nobody else would be able to use
Right.
it. And like, well, I can't approve that. You have to go to the selectmen and they usually just go away.
yeah, yeah.
You'd have to have almost a lease or something like that.
Well, right, and that's,
But that's different from,
What if it was something, just to throw it out there, what if it was something like a Boy Scout or a Cub Scout pack?
which they do. They're like,
And they could say,
they normally would take the gym once a month, I think.
Right, so if it's
Yeah.
saying, so is there a policy in place to say an organization like that would fill out a form and it would just be a rolling monthly thing for a year or for 5 years or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
every Friday night.
Yeah, like.
Well, usually it's just for a year, then they put their dates in,
Right,
but they would just usually book that through staff. Do they still get the
The-
gym, the Cub Scouts?
The way, okay, so what we have set up currently is we have a form that allows them to do an event.
Mhm.
And you can have a reoccurring event, so like going back to Cub Scouts, if they meet on every Thursday, the third Thursday of every month. Okay, great, so that space, as long as there's nothing else going on, is for them, and if something should come up, then it's kind of like, hey, you can't have like the gym or center station or whatever, because we have some other event happening that's town specific. We don't typically right now rent out a space for a long duration to the same like organization or entity
Right.
without like kind of this disclaimer of like, well, we can't guarantee every single week, or we can't guarantee every single Thursday, whatever. So I think part of the conversation here is, moving forward, does this body want to have those long-term rentals where it's like, hey, we want a room every single week for X number of hours with no exclusions?
Probably not, but I guess you'd have to have the people come before them, like the group of Amity,
I can deal with that on an ad hoc basis, that when it comes up, you consider it.
right. Right, it would have to be something really important to the town, like if it was like, well, this is serving these special needs kids that live in town and maybe a few from other towns, but but it'd have to be an ad hoc thing and not just a. And still don't think you'd wanna like tie yourself up, because then you'd have to tell town organizations you can't use it. And then it's just like an out of town group that wanted to use the lodge or something like that, I think. That's all the
Right.
townspeople paid for it, why are they being kicked out for some other entity?
I was wondering
We'll
if,
probably-
is there any party or any person right now asking for a long-term rental with no exclusions at this time?
were they asking for exclusion? There's a
Well-
church in here now.
They're not asking necessarily for exclusion. What they're asking for is, they would like to use the gym every Sunday and then possibly other rooms in the building. And at the time that it was approved, it was like a small series type of deal.
Mhm.
Because they were displaced and they were looking for a place to land permanently. And now it seems like, that this is gonna be their permanent fixture. That's what they're asking for. And we don't have any protocol for that.
Now, who's asking?
It's a local church. Well, I'm not even sure if I think they're trying to become an organization. I'm not sure. They do have a COI and everything else, but I'm not sure if they're actually an entity yet, or they're trying to become, their own subsection. But they're asking to expand, not like, hey, we just need a couple more weeks. This is like, we want every single Sunday and possibly some other rooms in the building on Sunday.
What are they called? What's their name?
Stillwater?
Stillwater?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Then you get into a thing of, even if you say, said yes. Now you said yes to this group and then somebody else comes along.
Right,
No, sorry, Sundays are gone,
right.
so probably not.
Well,
I
maybe
guess-
could we talk about it more, at another time, or,
Yeah,
okay.
They do have a deadline right now of, I'd have to look it up, but I know they only have, reserved space till the end of August. So we could extend it a couple weeks or something, while you guys are deliberating what you wanna do with it, but they're asking right now if they can extend it indefinitely. And I would think the answer right now, if you're gonna talk about it, would be no. And that if it's up to you guys, but if you wanna extend it a couple more weeks while you talk about it, we could do that.
I guess they continue to do the short term.
So we can just extend whatever their previous series.
Whatever you
was.
do, like,
Right.
you know, single event or 3 weeks
Right.
or whatever. But yeah, probably they should look for another
Right.
home.
So can I just ask when you said that their time that they have now is ending in August sometime? Do they have any kind of agreement that's in writing right now?
Right, so what they have right now for us is, I believe it was 6 consecutive weeks. Might be 5 consecutive weeks, but it started in June. And so they had asked for X number of weeks while they looked for a permanent place, and that was granted. By the previous selectmen, and now that time is coming up, so if we want to extend it, we can. If we don't want to, you don't have to. And if you want to grant a long term, you can do that as well.
Jen, do you think you could send a copy of that, whatever Paula, whatever agreement she entered into, could you send that to us?
Well, we have the agreement that Vinny has down in finance through reservations. So the process right now is just, if they have a question, he went to Paula said that's fine. And then he continued the process, so I don't know if there's anything in writing.
So it's just a normal reservation form.
But they did a
yeah.
series instead of a 1-day
Yeah.
event, that's all.
And do we charge them? Are they,
Yeah, they're paying right now,
they're not in?
but there's no custodial and there's no staff.
So how do you deal with that? Somebody has a key or?
So right now, Don has been letting them in every
Oh,
Sunday.
so he's been handling that.
Mhm.
Letting him in and locking up, I guess.
Right,
Yeah.
so he's been opening and closing.
So it's very ad hoc.
Mhm.
But there's nobody in the building either
Mhm.
while they're here.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for long term, but I would say keep it short term at this point and we can revisit it, but not leaning that way.
All right, so, okay, so, we'll get Gina the forms that we have filled out.
Yep.
For the rental. And, we'll take this,
And has there been any, the other properties there mentioned? They really can't do like a long-term for Vets Park, that would be kind of crazy.
right,
Like have somebody say, oh, I just wanna open my own catering facility there.
right, well, so
Have you
we,
guys pay all the bills and all.
And the only other ones we've ever had is like Amity football, lacrosse has
And
seasonal
I think,
stuff.
I
It's
think we
seasonal.
approved one season, yeah.
Right, they're seasonal,
Yeah, they said, and then they're not even exclusive.
correct, they're
For their
several days a
time,
week.
for their time, yeah, but they're not like nobody else can use the field
Correct.
time. And somehow a field is different from a building.
yeah, right,
Nobody has to unlock it.
right, right. Yeah, and clean. All right, we'll try and get, yeah, I guess if you guys wanna discuss this more and consider
No,
something.
this, wasn't there a talk a while ago, like more than a year ago, somebody wanted to use. The lodge, or I think it was an antique machinery. And
The tool show.
Yeah, the tool show, or whatever,
They
antique
do
tool
it.
show. But the question was. Well, I don't know, did he want it more than just for the thing?
It was a weekend.
So the question was what rate? And then it kind of gets into the thing of. If it was like the Bethany Lions Club, I don't know, maybe they let other people join from out of town, but it's primarily gonna be Bethany people, right? Or versus, if you have a statewide or regional or national organization and there's one person in town who's a member, do they get to use it like for free?
Right,
It was kind of a gray area, and I
yeah,
forget what we did in that case, but I thought we were gonna try to look into what other towns did. It almost seems like you've got like corporation wants to use the place to have their, retreat, they get charged one price. Maybe a nonprofit organization that's not exclusive Bethany might pay a lower rate, but something, and then if it's the Boy Scouts, a Bethany thing, then they don't pay anything, and we cover the custodial costs.
Okay. All right, so we will, I guess, table this one and put it on the agenda for next month for further discussion.
Motion to table?
Yes.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
you have other,
yeah, any other business anyone wants to discuss?
Sal, can I just say, it's not really other business, but I'm not in Connecticut right now, and I was wondering if that, you don't need me to sign the checks, so I don't want anything to be held up, but I was wondering if we could have either the checks or a set of copies so I could see them when I return. I'll be back on Monday.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get you copies of everything,
Thank you.
no problem. Right.
well, there's, when you guys send the checks out, there's copies of you guys have copies of the checks
Yeah.
and the
Copies.
invoices.
The cover, so that way she can look through and see what they're for,
Mhm.
so that way they can still follow them.
Okay. Right.
I don't know if anyone else has other business.
Mm. Quiet here. So, all right, so I can make a motion to move to executive session with like in there. To discuss contract strategies.
Okay, so I'm not really sure what that is. I know, Sal, thank you for your call the other day. I was traveling and couldn't pick up, but just as you know, as Bob knows, as Vin knows, as I normally do with requests to go into executive session, I just want to be clear for the public that there's a legitimate reason to go into executive session. So could we just review for the public because contract strategy doesn't really tell us.
Yeah, it's really negotiations.
Okay,
So there's a vendor who is seeking payment from the town. And that payment is in excess of what was appropriated. And the selectmen need to discuss what response to take, and that would be a negotiation with the vendor. So at the moment, we'd be in a negotiation posture with the vendor. So we have to discuss our strategy on negotiation. And I'll pull up.
I think I think the statutory reference is off. It says 6A. And I know we use that one when we're talking about appointments or hiring, but I think it's supposed to be 6B. Strategy and negotiations with respect to pending claims.
no,
But yeah, it's instead of A, it should say B.
And just,
thank you.
But I just want to say, though, that pending claims, this is not a pending claim, right? This is a bill. This is something that's been discussed very publicly. And I really don't see a reason to go into executive session to discuss this, that it has been very public. And I think that people should have the right to hear what's going on. And this is something that, the taxpayers are paying for. And it's not litigation. I know that's one of the, subpart B, one of the, one of the, I guess, exceptions to open meetings. If you're talking about a pending, if you're talking about litigation or a pending claim, right now we have a bill. It's not a claim, it's not litigation. And I think that since the public has been, town residents especially have been very interested in this topic, I think we should talk about this openly. I don't think it fits into, I don't think it fits into 6B, is what I'm saying.
6B has two halves, Gina. The first half says, so it says strategy and negotiations with respect to pending claims. And then it goes on to say, or pending litigation. So it's litigation, you have to have a lawsuit filed.
Right.
But a claim, it defines as a written notice to an agency which sets forth a demand for legal relief.
We
Or
don't
asserts a
have that
legal,
though. We don't have that, is what I'm saying.
well, somebody's demanding
Demand for payment.
payment. And the only reason to do an executive session is if we talk about in public session that we'd be willing to pay X, then it's likely that it's just like when you're negotiating for real estate, you don't
Right.
say, we're gonna offer this, but we go up to this. Cause then you're gonna end up paying the maximum. So I think that's what the strategy would be. That
Right,
we
but
wanna not tell the person, the other party, what the town, is considering. What our defenses would be
what are what? Can you repeat that?
in the event of litigation, what our defenses would be, what our strategy would be.
Well,
You don't have to, no one has to take advantage of an executive session. You can discuss those things publicly, but you may be putting the town at a disadvantage.
You know, and just for purposes of, you know, the fitting within the definition of pending claim. It does say in their retainer agreement that if there's a failure of payment, that they reserve the right to initiate a lawsuit. Let me just pull it up. You know, they're reserving within the contractual relation, the retainer agreement, there's language in there about, you know, the consequences of failure to pay in accordance with the terms of it. So, you know, when they issued their invoice, they're issuing, it's a claim, in my view, it's a claim for payment. They're not saying, they haven't overtly said, we're gonna bring a lawsuit if you don't pay this, but they have said that in their retainer agreement.
well, of course, I mean, anyone who gets a bill understands that if they don't pay, that there could be consequences. I mean, I think that's, you know, the retainer agreement doesn't have to say that for all of us to understand that if you don't pay a bill, that there could be consequences. So I personally don't think this is a cause for executive session. It's a bill that we have, and the public has been very invested in this topic. And I'm wondering, Sal, whether you're willing to tell people what this is about, what the bill is about.
I mean, I guess that's public information.
Yeah.
It's the bill from the Pullman and Conley, the law firm that did the independent investigation. They sent a bill to the town in July. And it was for a lot more than expected. So that's what the discussion is gonna be about. What do we do about it?
And you don't think that,
Well-
residents of Bethany want to hear about the bill and hear what, about the details about what's happening?
Bill's a public record, so
Right.
you could say the amount of the bill. You know, that's a public record. Anyone's entitled to the bill. I think the point, as Selectman Britton had said, is that when the bill, which is, I think their time is in excess of $200,000. There was $75,000 appropriation, so the town doesn't have the funding in place today to pay that bill without taking additional action. Additional action is unknown at this point, whether or not it would be necessary, until the town has kind of engaged the firm in discussions, and which would be negotiations, to
Right.
see if that bill can be compromised down to the appropriated amount. That would be the first avenue, I would imagine, but I don't know. It's up to this body to discuss. And, you know, the reason why we would be doing it in negotiations, in executive session, is because we'd be negotiating what is a sizable
Right.
debt, and a debt, I think, is tantamount to a claim. So So you could do it in public session if you want, but then you run the risk of exposing your strategy and your position publicly to the party with whom you're negotiating. So you can do that publicly if you want, but
I would be in favor of that.
I would recommend you do it in executive session, not for lack of transparency, but to protect the town's interest in its negotiating posture. That would be the only reason to go into executive session, but, the public is entitled to a copy of the invoice if they want it, and, that's really what it's about.
Yeah, so
Okay,
they're
then I
saying,
just want to make clear that the bill is not for 200,000. So I mean, you said that, and I
Oh,
just want to make sure that,
The
that
time is in excess of
their
200,000.
time, but that's not what they're asking for in payment. So
Oh,
I just want
yeah.
to be
So-
clear because I don't want people that, the portion, if we are going to go to executive session, I don't want to mislead people into thinking that they're asking for $200,000 because that's not what the bill is.
This is one of the strategy things because, so they've obviously, I think they know they kind of screwed up and didn't send us any bills, didn't notify us about going that far of a budget. And that's why they were, they said it was, I think they said total fees, 255,000, and they kind of offered to split the difference. However, that's one of the things we'll talk about. My guess is if they're gonna go to litigation, they're not gonna be offering to split the difference. They'll go
Right.
back to the full amount. I think the negotiation is to get to some lower number that avoids litigation.
Okay, so I understand your position. I just want to I think that people who are on Zoom and people who are in the room should know that the bill is, that they're not asking us for 250,000 or 200,000. I think we could
Well,
tell people,
currently they have made an offer to settle at a certain amount. I think they're asking for an extra 90, an additional 90 above what we already approved.
Well, more than that, actually, because they want the full 75.
Right,
Well, I'm assuming above the 75,
plus
Right.
plus the
want 90.
expenses.
and the
Right,
expenses,
plus-
I think, have all been
yes.
spent, yes.
So let me pull up the email that I got and we could
We
be.
paid the expenses now,
I
right?
say it's expensive out of the 75, but they still want 75. Originally, they paid, I think, 53 or 54, whatever it was.
Right, that was only the retainer.
Right, and then, so now they wanted to go up to 75 plus another.
No, I mean, I think they heard 75 and they know 75,
Right.
so I think they consider that theirs.
That's in it, I think it's in the back.
Yeah,
Description.
and I don't know if the town was really clear with them that we're charging other things to that. We just paid some invoices the last week but it
Right.
wasn't out of this account.
Yeah, it was out of the 75.
Oh, okay. Seems to be out of operating budget.
Well, I thought.
Well, then they're asking for 112.
Right.
It's.
Yeah.
Right.
If they think the whole 75 is
They think the whole 75 is there.
They're asking
We
for
paid them
112.
53. We had to pay Novus another 3,500 and then Sandline another over 9,000 out of it, so.
All right, well, I think all the information's there, so if we're gonna talk about strategy, we can go into executive session and.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, did you make a motion?
Yeah, I mean, a motion will invite Vincent into the executive session. To discuss the strategy for this issue.
I'll second the motion.
You have to say who's going in.
I said,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I thought I heard my name on it.
yeah, oh, and then the selectmen also,
Well, the selectmen come in automatically.
right,
So, all right,
right, so it'd be the three of us and then,
and your lawyer.
right.
They all in favor?
I'm in favor.
Aye.
Jane,
I'm gonna just say that I'm just gonna vote no. My preference for this meeting would be that it should be public, and so that
Okay.
Hello?
Go ahead, go
Hello?
ahead.
Hey, Gina, we have to call you because we can't do it through Zoom.
Oh,
We have to
okay.
throw everybody else off.
Okay, give me a call when you're ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
all set?
We are all
Okay.
set.
So we're coming out of executive session at 8:15. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Oh, wait, just one second, before before we adjourn,
Yeah.
I think we should say publicly that there was no action taken, right?
Okay,
No
Yeah.
action
no,
taken.
no action was taken, right? Okay. Now another motion to adjourn.
No, you just call the vote.
Oh, okay.
All in favor
All
of
in
adjourning?
favor?
Aye.
Okay.